How much money did you make today?
Yesterday, I made $178,000. Today, it's 1 p.m. We're at $106,000 for the day, and expecting today to be very similar to yesterday.
What do you do?
I run a financial media business called MarketBeat. We have millions of email subscribers, SMS subscribers, website visitors, a YouTube channel. We get people to come to our media assets, and then they click on ads and buy stuff.
Who are you? And what were you like in high school and college?
Oh, good question. High school Matt and college Matt were very different. So high school Matt was very unremarkable. Didn't have a whole lot going on for him. I was a like BC student, had a job at Burger King, and then a job at a gas station later. I was in high school debate. Like that was like the only thing that like I was motivated to do. So like could not care less about science and reading and math and whatever. But like debate was my thing. Love that. I went to college. I kind of figured things out in terms of like business and money and like because I had to pay tuition and like never had to pay anything before. So I kind of thought like, okay, I need to make some money. And like I didn't want to work fast food. Um, so I got a job writing for the college newspaper and I thought, well, I could go work at McDonald's in town or I can try to make money by being a writer online because if the university will pay me to write, maybe somebody else will. So then became a freelance writer, blogger type, made my own blog, and eventually made an investing blog, and then that turned into MarketBeat. Uh, Today, run a large financial media business. We'll do like 50 million this year, hopefully a little bit more next year. MarketBeat's the main gig, and then I have two kind of side gigs. I have a venture capital fund called Homegrown Capital. We just closed our second fund, about 22 million bucks in that fund to invest in Midwest regional kind of tech companies. And then I have a pretty large real estate portfolio with my partner Kevin too. We've got about 2,000 apartment units and then some other kind of random commercial properties as well. Married, two kids, just love business and kind of love what I do and want to keep doing it for a long time.
So, one thing from that answer. So,
Mhm.
you started MarketBeat maybe several years out of college, a handful of years out of college?
Started it in college. So it was
Okay.
a personal finance blog that became a network of personal finance blog, one of which was an investing blog. And then the Google Panda update came in 2011, basically killed all of the personal finance blogs, but the investing blog was getting traffic from like Yahoo Finance and Google Finance and MSN Money and all of these other places, so it's kind of immune to that. And then like that just really took off and really focused on that and eventually became MarketBeat.
So, you would have started it in 2010, just about.
Incorporated the business in 2008, so I'd probably say that's the fairest start date. But we didn't have the MarketBeat name until 2015.
Did you feel late at that point to
Uh,
starting a blog?
oh yeah, because like blogging started in 2004, and I started blogging in 2006, 7. I was kind of 3 years into the trend. Like when I was doing it, there was 150 personal finance blogs out there, and I felt like I was late because there were all these established blogs, and that was 18 years ago. Yeah, no matter when you start, you're going to feel like you're late because somebody is ahead of you, and that's fine. Just how it is.
So, one thing that's happened recently is ChatGPT, right? So,
Hmm.
you maybe survive partially via a lot of paid traffic expertise. Do you feel like you could whip up something that could utilize the same paid traffic, or do you
Hmm.
need the type of website that still thrives with organic, like you initially had traffic
Yeah.
from?
So we were initially 100% organic. And then like that's great if you want to build like a $5 million a year business. Today we're like 80% paid. So we have campaigns on Google, Bing, Meta, TikTok, Taboola, you name it, we're advertising there. We spent 11 million bucks in advertising last year. We're hoping to spend 20 million next year in 2026. Like you have to go to paid because that's where all the scale is at. Like if you want to be a big company, like you're doing paid.
And that seems more than ever like
Mm.
relevant with LLMs, or is that not really
Mhm.
on your radar?
Um, Our LLM strategy is just to really do good SEO. There are these LLM tracking tools out there now that will tell you if you're ranking in different queries for in the different LLM kind of services, but um, they're very artificial because they're just kind of whatever query the company made up to like the tracking company made up to see if like your brand gets mentioned. And like I don't think that really mirrors like real world usage of ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude and Gemini and whatever. So I don't put too much stock into those. If you want to like be featured in ChatGPT or whatever, really, the key is to, be an established brand that where lots of people mention you on the internet so that the LLMs like hear your name and then think you're important. And then two is just not to block the crawlers. A lot of people have been blocking ChatGPT because like the thought is that, they're stealing my content and like maybe, but like Google is stealing your content too then. My thought is like I'm just not going to worry about it because it's not a real problem. But like since we let ChatGPT and everybody else just index our site, like we get mentioned often when we kind of look at ourselves to our competitors and who's getting traffic from ChatGPT. Like we're at the top of the list, and I think it's one because like it's an established site. We publish a ton of volume. Like our content is syndicated to Yahoo Finance, Nasdaq, Entrepreneur, MSN, lots of places. And then like we do these surveys where like, what are the best places for somebody to retire? And then we do the survey and then we publish the results and then we outreach to local media outlets and have all of them, like get local stories written about our survey. So then there's a bunch of brand mentions of MarketBeat from every local newspaper, radio station, TV station, whatever. Well, not every, but lots of them. Like typically we'll get 20, 25, 20 to 50 kind of stories about one of our surveys. So you get MarketBeat mentioned by a lot of other media outlets. ChatGPT thinks we're important. We're publishing a lot of volume. We get mentioned all the time. They can index our site. Conversely, like we get traffic from ChatGPT like more than a lot of people do.
Do the advertising networks like, does that help you in their eyes to have all that SEO rank?
You
Or
know,
is it,
it's unclear. It's pretty hard to scrape Google these days. So it's unclear how much the LLMs are like taking in the ads. Um,
oh, I mean to ask if you're trying to get ads approved or
mhm,
get good relationship with reps at
mhm.
Google, Taboola, Meta, do your mentions help?
Um, Not necessarily. I think it's more being just an established brand where it's like there's a real company behind it, and you go to our about page and you see like our listing of staff and you see a picture of our office building and like we're very clearly a real company versus like, a lot of our friends in financial media, they try to hide and like it's really unclear who's behind the website and like there's no company address, no company phone number. It's just unclear who's really behind it. So like the fact that like you can see our entire staff, you can see all of our writers, you can see our office, you've got our mailing address, our phone number, our email, like everything's out there for you to find. Like it just shows that like a lot of credibility in terms of like, hey, this is a real company.
Um, for payment terms, is
Hmm.
how long do you think if all worst case scenarios happen, you might have, I don't know, 10 to 15 advertisers from one visitor to your website
Hmm.
who are paying you? What would be the, worst cash float you'd have to undergo, like 30 days, or you have to pay for the advertising right up front, right?
Well, most of the advertising these days is net 30. What you find with Google and Meta, like once you're spending six figures a month, they want to switch you to invoicing, which is actually kind of nice. Like, no, you don't get the credit card rewards, but then you get like net 30 payment terms. So like I am just now at the end of December paying for my November Facebook spend. So in that time, like I've probably gotten pretty close to break even on Facebook spend. So it's the cash conversion cycle on the ad networks is pretty short. Like we break even day 30, day 40, and then we also pay at day 30. So there's typically not ever just this big pile of cash sitting out there waiting to come back on returns. And we also have a good profit margin, so it just doesn't really matter that much.
Cool. So maybe we can help some people out who are just starting out. But I want to make sure we ask my selfish questions about what you do in your community and
Yeah.
if you've ever started offline businesses and how you feel that skill set transitions, if at all.
hmm Yeah, I kind of do three different things and they're all so very different and like also on the board of like an enterprise SaaS company and even though like it's a tech company like it's entirely different than what I do at MarketBeat and like having actual account executives and salespeople that go out and cold email people versus like what we do is just it's an entirely different thing. So what I find like every industry is just very different and like the skills usually don't translate that well other than like just basic business knowledge like still very much kind of a newbie in real estate, and thankfully I've got a great partner that kind of does their day-to-day operations. But like I'm not capable of being a real estate operator, just because like that's not my skill set. They're just very different.
Makes a ton of sense. Do your real estate guys, does they ever ask you about online businesses?
Yeah, I mean, MarketBeat's a pretty sexy business from the outside because it's, makes good money, 50% profit margin, kind of low staff, and Um, I've had a couple ask if they could invest, but like they also know like you need a pretty unique set of skills to kind of do what we do at MarketBeat. So they've never really tried to replicate it.
Probably smart for both of each of you.
Yeah.
So you're not a trader, you're not an investor. There are some people who do that
hmm
quite well. What can they do, do you think that you've seen to make a little extra income with a skill set? Still have to learn a lot, but similar to what you've developed.
Um, yeah. I mean, if you're a trader or investor, like there are lots of people that have done a good job of kind of making themselves a niche and writing about a very specific kind of aspect of investing. Like obviously, like nobody can cover the whole market, but maybe you are an expert on a very specific type of company, and people have done a good job kind of making those publications and, making some money by writing about them. Um, I think like Andrew Pompliano has done a great job of becoming like the Bitcoin guy, and he writes about Bitcoin every day and talks about it. And then he went and raised a fund to go buy um, probably some crypto company, and like he's been very on brand with that for years, and has done a nice job of building a media company entirely just based on Bitcoin and that one asset. And there are people that do it in tech. There are people that do it in like mining and like resource stocks. It's just got to be like find the topic that you're incredibly passionate about, and then start writing about it and see if anybody's interested in it.
That's fair. What about what you've got going on right now? You've got like a couple dozen and a half employees.
hmm
If everyone, you know, had to take a break, what would you be able to do by yourself?
it's gonna be pretty tough to run the company today. Like the stuff that like absolutely has to get done is like keep the servers alive and happy, keep all of our data feeds like stock prices alive and happy, manages all the advertising campaigns um, that our advertisers have, like setting them up in our system, running them, promoting the good ones, turning off the bad ones, and then like customer support. Um, like we do have a pretty big like writing component. And, like I think I could get away for a while if there aren't any like Associated Press content or something like that. But um, I think after a month or so, things would start to break down. I mean, it's pretty rare to run a $50 million a year company with 20 people. And like, if I tried really hard, could I run it with like 10, 15? Yeah. Could I run it with 10? Maybe. Less than 10, that'd be pretty tough.
Not advocating for a different setup, but even if it were pared down, you know, maybe a 10 million one person in company, would that even be
Mhm.
possible with what you have?
Well, with AI now, I think we're going to see that more and more. There's like a guy named Peter Levels who's on Twitter and kind of has a big audience on there. And he's a solopreneur and he's got all these like different SaaS apps. And, he stopped publishing his numbers, but it was a couple $1 million a year, like before he stopped publishing. Um,
I'll give you a personal example for viewers who are thinking about trying something like this. I tried to start a credit card site
Hmm.
in 2020. And 6 months into WordPress, I realized someone who majored in computer science is going to do this better than me,
Hmm.
with all these compliance updates. And I was worried about SEO as well with LLMs. Not that I knew that would happen, but I was just felt really late to the game. Do you have any insights for someone who uh, didn't study computer science?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a moat somewhere. And if the moat is not the technology, it's got to be you've got unique business relationships that nobody else has, or maybe you have got a unique way to create content that nobody else has. Maybe you've got a unique message. Like, if you don't have a unique anything, of course, you're not going to get anywhere. It's really like, what is your moat going to be? And then go figure that out. Like, tech does not have to be your moat. Like, Morning Brew did not have a bunch of custom tech. Like I'm pretty sure they just used off-the-shelf newsletter components and like, but they made great snappy content before really anybody else did. And they sold their business for 75 million bucks and did a great job with it.
What was the impetus to start YouTube for MarketBeat?
Um, YouTube has a lot of discoverability and that people can find out about you that like don't know about you. And like that's just not true of a lot of channels these days. Like the fact that you have an email list or you have a podcast, like people aren't just going to go find it. But with YouTube, like by the nature of just being on YouTube, like people will go find your content because YouTube will recommend your content to them. So we really just wanted to have a stake kind of in that traffic channel. So it was 3 years ago now we started. I think it was January of 23, and we're up to 450,000, 60,000 subscribers or so. Um, and that's been going pretty well. We make between 50 and 100,000 a month from it. And like, no, it's not our biggest like channel, but um, it's growing and we're happy with it. It also gives us a level of credibility that like because there's like a lot of like it's really easy to go make like a stock research website these days because like you can go get the data from anywhere for not a lot of money, and then you can use any vibe coding tool to like ingest that API and then like make a stock screener, whatever the thing that you want to make is. Like that's really easy these days. So like that's not a mode anymore. Really, the mode is on kind of the stuff that's hard. And like original content creation is kind of one of the hard things. Like a lot of the stock research sites out there, like they don't have a team of writers, they don't have a team of editors producing original content. They're just pulling in like the AP news feed or the Reuters news feed, and not really doing anything original there. And then like the next level of difficulty beyond that is like video content. Like you need like an extra studio and you need a host and you need a producer and you need an editor and like you just need a lot of people to do it and to do it well. And like the fact that we can do that just gives us a ton of credibility that other sites don't have.
Are you able to acquire from Google Ads subscribers for less than a couple bucks?
No. Everybody in the newsletter space, not everybody, but a lot of people think what they need to optimize for is the lowest cost per lead. But really, like that's not the metric you want to focus on because then you just end up getting a bunch of cheap, low quality leads that aren't really interested in your stuff and don't ever buy anything and they stop breeding after a month. Really what you're looking for is what's your ROAS after a month or 3 months of like, what is my return on ad spend, regardless of how many people I got. So if I spend 100,000 in Google in, December, by mid-February, I want to break even on that money and then have by the end of like 12 months later, I want to have a ROAS of 3. So if I spent $1, I want to make $3. On Google, I actually yelled at my media buyer saying like these leads are too cheap. There's no way there's quality there. It's like on Meta, we're paying between 8 and 10 bucks a lead. Same for TikTok, and like that's kind of the price for a good financial lead these days. And our leads on Google were like $3, and like there's no way the quality is there. And like we'd see that bear out in the ROAS numbers, and then like I'd go into Google AdWords and like there's like you can click through a few things and like see what sites your ads are running on. It's like, yeah, this makes sense because like we were not running on like good quality websites that real people would go to. Like we weren't running on Yahoo Finance. We were running on some random, Spanish credit repair website. Like obviously we shouldn't be running here. Yeah, cheap leads is not the focus. That should never be the focus. It's how much money am I making back for what I'm putting in?
What about YouTube subscribers? Can you acquire them for less than a couple bucks?
Yeah, those are dollar 50 per. We take all of the AdSense money we make on YouTube and then we plow that back into growing our YouTube channel with like the YouTube promotional ads. That's worked pretty well for us. So if we make 30,000 bucks this month, next month we're going to spend 30,000 bucks on growing the channel because like the channel doesn't need to be profitable today. Like we just want it to grow and hit a couple million subscribers over the course of a couple years.
When you work with agency partners for different channels, are they
Mhm.
working on a cost per acquisition or cost per lead?
No, most of them are based off like a percentage of ad spend. Pretty common. Like it really kind of depends on what it is and how much. So you like kind of the benchmark is our average or our agencies keep about 10% of the spend. So we spend $100,000 on Google with them, they'd keep 10% of that. Um, but like not all media buying is equally hard. Like we have people that like do newsletter placements for us that are it's a much more manual thing, so their fee is higher. And then like Google is kind of less work after a certain point because like the hard part is like making the campaigns, like scaling them up is the easy part. So their fee is a little bit higher on the front end, and then lower kind of on higher ad spend. But it's usually about 10% of your spend is the fee.
So for your advertisers, what are the traits that link the longest running advertisers to people who have stuck around?
Yeah, I mean, we've had advertisers that have run with us for 10 years. Um, and it's because we've got like the right audience and they've got the right kind of offers or advertisements to run on our website. And we always get new people coming into our list every month. So it's not like we run out of people to send them. We get probably 200,000 new email signups a month that have never been in our database before that have signed up for MarketBeat. And, our advertisers want access to those people. Like our best advertisers are people that publish financial newsletters. This is Agora. Lots of people have heard of MarketWise, which is kind of a public company offshoot of Agora. Then we have some investor relations advertisers. These are public companies looking for exposure. Every now and then we'll promote a Regulation A offering. Every now and then company, some advisory services like Smart Asset or advertisers. So it's really kind of they're all financial, but it is kind of a range of different things. And depending on what the month is or what's hot and what's not, then like some advertisers will spend a lot more if like their thing is hot right now. Like if gold is like the hot thing and we are promoting a gold newsletter, obviously like that'll perform really well and then we'll send more of it, make more of it. And then if gold's out of favor, then we don't send it as much.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Right now, I guess metals would be the hot thing.
Yeah, a great time to be talking about silver and gold, like
Yeah.
because people always talk about whatever the thing that's out recently gone up is, right? Like Nvidia shoots up, everybody's talking about Nvidia. Silver shoots up, everybody's talking about silver. And ironically, like that's usually the worst time to invest is right after something has shot up. But that's kind of just the nature of people in the stock market is they chase the hot thing versus like looking, what they should do is like look at the stuff that's really out of favor and invest in that. But there's a lot of like trend chasing, momentum chasing of like this thing's going up. I need to like get on the wave and catch it.
Yeah. There's definitely an art to what you do because you've seen your advertisers who are you might view as the most uh effective, but you
Hmm.
still have to give people what they want necessarily, not necessarily what they need.
Hmm.
Um, I've been seeing your ads and I can see how it's really a broad top of funnel.
Hmm.
Um, so what are you looking for if anything right now, people inbound to you or what's on your mind?
One of my goals for next year is to spend 20 million bucks in advertising. We spent 11 last year, and I'm kind of looking for channels like advertising channels that most people don't think of. So if anybody has a very creative way to advertise a financial newsletter or financial website, like hit me up.
All right. And not just TikTok.
Yeah, we're doing TikTok ads. I mean, it's kind of the same like on Meta and Instagram right now. The thing is like like user gen like not I mean they're AI, but like user generated content kind of ads of like where it's like a person and they're talking about like, hey, I found this, like here's my secret newsletter I subscribe to. It's called The Early Bird. You should go check it out. Then it's like the same kind of ads work on TikTok too, because they're short form kind of UGC video ads. So then they tend to work, they've worked pretty well recently.
So my tech background influences me to think that those AI ads are going to be the best performing ads because you can create as many variations as you want.
Hmm.
But the differentiation of someone's name or a real person also could be an advantage. What do you think about those in the next few years or right
Uh,
now?
all the really smart people say like the name of the game these days is like volume of creative and like having 200 different variations of whatever your ad is because AI will serve them all and then pick the best one. Um, so I think what's more important is like less like having the one real ad from a real person, unless it's like a celebrity, right? Then, if Taylor Swift's talking about your brand, then like that's going to be better than anything. But like if it's just a random person who's a real person, like that's not going to be necessarily any better than like 300 AI variations that all get tested by the algorithm and then it picks the best one.
Not a lot of Taylor Swifts out there.
No, but Taylor, if you're out there and you want to talk about MarketBeat, I'm all about that.
Right on. Well, how can people get in touch with you?
Uh, but probably the best way to hit me up is on Twitter. At Matt Paulson SD is my Twitter handle. Very active on there on Twitter every day. And if you want to email me, it's matt@mattpaulson.com. When I check on my website, it's just mattpaulson.com, mattpaulson.com.
Well, thanks so much, Matt. I hope some helpful people find this that are helpful to you and hope you have a
Mhm.
happy holiday.
Yeah, it's happy holidays.
I had a lot of fun doing this interview with Matt. If you're new to Stocks community, hit that subscribe button. And we put out brand new videos every day on stock ideas as well as interviews with industry experts. If you are an industry expert and you'd like to be interviewed, send me an email at sam@samputnam.com and I hope to hear from you.